Okay, truck drivers, freight brokers, and dispatchers. Do you want to know how to avoid things like this? Stay tuned and I'm going to tell you how. Okay, so for those of you that may be new to the channel, my name is Tim and this is Freightmaster Resources, where we try to provide you with tips and resources to help you become more successful. Okay, so I've seen stuff like this. I've dealt with stuff like this over the years, and it happens with large companies, small companies. You're going to run into it, right? Where you've got extended waiting times. Whether it was to get loaded or offloaded, there is no reason for drivers to have to wait 12 hours, 24 hours, whatever the situation may be. And I'm not going to get into, well, my broker didn't make the appointment, whatever. Or it was the driver's responsibility to book the appointment. Doesn't matter, right? When you start to see shippers or you arrive at a shipper and you walk in blindly to check in and you start to see stuff like this, right? And the reason I say truck drivers, brokers, and dispatchers is because your broker might not even be aware that this receiver has this sort of signage up and that it's taking, half a day to get offloaded, right? Which sort of puts them in a little bit as much of a pinch as it is for you, because now they've got to hit their customer up for layover, detention, whatever that is. Which brings me to another point, not to get off track, but carriers, please, 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 I'm begging of you, pay attention to your sign-ons with brokers, okay? Because when you sign those agreements, they may not have anything in their agreement as far as accessorials that relate to detention or layover. So you're at their mercy, okay? Please read those before you sign them, especially if you're a dispatcher and you're signing, your carrier on up for stuff. And then, oh, well, we sat for 7 hours and now we don't have, we need detention. Read your rate cons, because some of them will state you need to notify your broker X amount of time before detention is supposed to start. So if the broker's detention starts at 2 hours, but you have to let them know a half an hour before or whatever it is, make sure you're doing that, or they can absolutely deny your detention and layover. Okay? And that avoids a lot of frustration, okay, for you, the dispatcher, the broker, everybody involved. So all of that being said, one of the things that you can do, whether you're a broker, a dispatcher, a driver, a fleet owner, whatever your role is in everything, right, is to look at company reviews. Say it with me. Look at company reviews, okay? Because truck drivers post reviews. So unfortunately, there are those that have paid the consequence of being held up in situations like this where they were stuck for 12 hours and what are you going to do? It's got to come off the truck, right? You maybe have another load booked. They don't care, right? They absolutely don't care that you have another load booked and you're figuring, okay, well, 2 hours to offload. I'm 30 minutes away from my next pickup. Well, guess what? You're not going to make it, right? I've run into this before back in the day when I first started, right? Because I didn't think about it. Technology's evolved since then. But here's something that we can all do, right? And this goes for you brokers and dispatchers as well. Don't leave this all on the driver's shoulders, okay? Let me take this off. Sorry, bear with me for just a second. A little technology inept. But look at the Google reviews. Okay. Now, this is just an example of one. Okay. But if you are, okay, let's say you've got ABC company in Chicago picking up and it's going to XYZ company in Seattle. First and foremost, brokers, broker agents, pay attention. Before you hit up that prospect, look at those Google reviews, look up whatever other reviews that you want to. If you start to see a consistency with drivers complaining of, extended wait times to get loaded or offloaded, pay attention to that, right? Because it's not typically just a one-off situation where something happened and, there was one driver out of 500 or something, over the course of a month or whatever that this happened to, right? Circumstances being whatever, shit happens, right? I never cuss on this channel. I don't know why I did that, but anyway, but if you start to see, drivers posting, oh, well, I sat here for 7 hours, I was here for 5 hours, I was here for 12 hours, then obviously that's not a prospect that you want to go after, right? And if you are a broker and you're running into this with a current customer, post it. It seems counterproductive, but post it. Warn other drivers. We need to start making shippers and receivers more accountable, right? I actually had a conversation earlier today in regards to Walmart. Okay, this seems to happen a little bit more often during produce season. It seems like, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you run into this, predominantly during other parts of the year, but Walmart is one of those companies, and I'm not calling them out exclusively because there's other companies that do it, but they will over order. Okay, so let's just say you are a broker and you've got a produce customer and they're sending a load of Brussels sprouts, let's just say, okay, to Walmart. And Walmart's ordered, 200 truckloads of Brussels sprouts. But they really only need 150. Okay, this is all hypothetical, but it does happen. They will reject those other 50 trucks. And they'll make up some lame excuse so that they're not responsible for it. We need to start holding companies like this. Doesn't matter. Just because they're big means jack and you know what to me. And it shouldn't mean anything to you. Just because the company's big and they have a lot of freight or they're receiving a lot of freight, no. We need to start holding them accountable. Because you good truck drivers out there, you good carriers, you good brokers out there, let's start helping each other. Let's build these relationships. And we can do that by posting reviews. Okay? We can help others behind us avoid the pitfalls that we went through, right? So that eventually they will be held accountable. Well, why can't we get trucks? Do we have to pay more? What's going on? They'll start to figure it out, right? Maybe we need to increase our offload or decrease our offloading time. They'll recognize that that's the problem, or we shouldn't overorder the way that we do. And I'm sure there's, whatever reasons behind what they do. But the idea being is that carriers, drivers, brokers, dispatchers shouldn't suffer as a result of especially some of these big corporations, right? This video is a little bit of a rant on my end, but I've kind of talked about this a little bit to some extent in the past, and I really hope that it helps people out, right? And especially to think about this now before we get into the major part of the produce season, end of February, first part of March, when produce season starts to kick off. Again, there is still produce obviously running right now. If you're looking at this and you're looking for customers and you're into produce or refrigerated freight, Look at your root vegetable customers, right? Potatoes, things like that, carrots, that's all still moving. Okay. Winter crops, pay attention. Use your resources. Check out my other videos on that. They're there. So if you guys have something to add, go ahead and add it. Again, just a short little rant. I heard this probably, I don't know, 15 times today about shippers and receivers with the extended load and offload times. And again, it was one of these things that it sort of like came at me all at once because I listen to you guys, right? I listen to everybody. I at least try to, whether it's via email or direct message or one of my friends, saying, man, I'm still sitting here, it's been 6 hours. My broker's not answering the phone, and I'm trying to find out where we're at with the tension. Get a different broker. If they're not answering you after 6 hours, get a different broker. Right? It's all about establishing relationships and things, and look back at your agreement with that broker. If you're having problems with that broker and they're not paying you attention, look at your agreement. Stop hauling for them. Right? We need to call out bad eggs in the industry. We absolutely do. Those that are on the up and up and in the know, that know what they're doing, those are the people that I want to work with, right? You truck drivers, you carriers, you dispatchers that know what you're doing. And we weren't all born knowing everything, right? We all kind of had to start off somewhere. So if you run across somebody who's trying, don't ever down them, right? It's okay. I'm going to use this as an example before I sign off here. Let's say you subscribe to a gym, right? And you see some scrawny dude pumping iron, trying his best. He's not lifting a lot of weight, but he's in there and he's trying. Don't dog the little guy for trying, right? Because you didn't start off being all muscle bound, right? Help each other out. That's why we're here. This is why I have the channel. This is why I have the Facebook group, to help new people coming in and those of us that are veterans in the industry to further grow and succeed, right? It shouldn't be a struggle. So that's my rant for today, I guess. I hope this helped you out. I know it was a little impromptu. I didn't give any advance warning as to when I was going to do this live, and for that I apologize. But I have a meeting coming up, and my day has kind of gotten out of control on me. So I did want to pop on and tell you guys about this. So again, I apologize for being a little impromptu. But anywho, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Get out there, get that freight, get that money, make your paper, right? I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye now.